All right, everybody. How is everybody doing this week? I see we have Caroline back. Hi, Caroline.
Hello again.
Yeah. Carter, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in the middle today. I was on the end the other day. I had the logo right there on my head, but this time it's Caroline.
I know she,
There it is.
yeah, she just kind of moves around and sees how they go. I don't know if I could like control that or not. I haven't figured out that kind of a deal.
Huh.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take just a few minutes, let people have an opportunity to jump on board here. And I'm going to go over here and play this wonderful video that Jonathan Sanders did for us because I just like it. All right, Renee Brigman is in the house, and I'm so glad she is because this is something that I got an email about and told her we were going to be doing this live about review spam and some of those things. And we're going to talk about an email that's been going around that I've seen and Caroline's both seen. So this is going to be a fun uh, little show here. And I just want to remind everybody, if you need the details, there will be a blog post. It will be on the Spark Marketer website. So sparkmarketer.com/blog. It will be up on Monday. We're posting it on Monday, and it will have all the details, both with review spam as well as what did we cover last week?
It's been all other types of spam.
All other types of spam. There you go.
Spam.
Oh, how many of you are that kind of dates? This doesn't it?
Yeah. Monty Python.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're going to talk about a very specific type of spam. It's really fake reviews and spamming those reviews, but all on Google, Yelp, and Facebook. And we've seen them pretty much on all these platforms. And this is what we're going to talk about. So the first thing, this is I get asked this question every once in a while. How easy is it to buy fake reviews on Google? And I will tell you, it is really, really easy. All you got to do is Google buy fake reviews, and you'll get a whole bunch of people that you can go buy fake reviews from. It's just not that hard. So the real question is not whether you can do it or not. The real question is whether you should do it or not. So guys, Caroline, Carter, why shouldn't we go just buy a bunch of fake reviews? Other people seem to be doing it.
Well, if you did what everybody else is doing, then that's a sure path to mediocrity. So it's anytime. I mean, legitimacy is a hallmark of a successful company, and any company that's putting out reviews they didn't earn in order to make themselves look better is losing the trust of its customers and the trust of the public almost immediately. Fake reviews are funny in that they don't look, smell, or resemble real reviews closely enough to get by. And so you start seeing enough fake reviews and you realize this stuff is counterfeit, and it's you immediately disregard that company that's engaging in that sort of a thing. It's just not what you want to do. Not a good plan.
Well, yeah. Some additional repercussions, right, Caroline?
Yeah, I would agree with everything that Carter said. And then just to add on to that, I guess not laws, because when you're talking about Google guidelines, it's not necessarily, illegal. But if you pay for reviews, if you post fake reviews, if you have other people post fake reviews, it is against Google's guidelines, and you can get into serious trouble with Google. So if you want to keep your listing safe, then you don't want to play that game. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a legal thing with the FTC. If the FTC finds out that you are posting fake reviews or putting out fake reviews, they will they will have heavy fines. They're going to insist on that. And in some cases, they'll shut your business down. So, there is some legal ramifications for it. Yeah, I don't hear about it very often, but do you want to take that chance to really, bring that on yourself, not just kind of minimizing your company and the reputation of your company, but bringing on a total shutdown?
Yeah.
Another question that we get quite often is this: how in the world do you spot fake reviews? Now, Carter made a comment that they're pretty easy to spot. Well, I would say for the most part that's true. But there are some that's pretty tough.
I got to say there are, I've seen some that are, like the positive reviews that are pretty legit sounding, and I'm hearing that people are using AI technology to write the reviews automatically, so they're getting their cues and stuff from hundreds of legitimate reviews, and so it's easier for a machine to write in the style of other legitimate reviews than it is for a human being to sit there and make it up. For some reason, it just sounds more legit. So yes, but negative reviews are another thing, and that's because a negative review always has a very specific thing that went wrong, and the degree of specificity needed by the writer of a negative review to convince people that something went wrong that shouldn't have, like I'm justified in posting this negative review, is really hard to cop. It's really hard to fake that. But to some people, it may pass as real. I just read it and go, I don't think so.
I would kind of add on to that because, it's kind of our jobs to look for and spot this type of stuff. So for us, it can seem a bit easier. If you know what you're looking for and you have the right tools, it can be easier to spot. So generally what I look for when I'm trying to spot fake reviews is, obviously for the negative ones, the easiest part of that is the person who left that review in your system? Did you actually do business with that person, or is that person using a separate name or something like that? If you can't find that person in your system that left a negative review, or if they're a past employee or something, then that's a pretty clear indicator that it's a fake negative review. But for those positive reviews that people are buying and then leaving on your competitors to boost themselves, those ones can be a bit harder to spot. But generally the types of things that I look for is when that person left a review, look at the actual profiles of the people leaving the reviews, not necessarily just the reviews themselves, because sometimes you can tell by the wording it sounds a little fishy, it sounds a little unnatural. But I always look at the profiles. So the profile of the person who left the review, did they only leave that one review, and did they create that profile the same day that they left that review? Because if they created a profile strictly to leave that review, that's pretty fishy. Or did they leave, multiple reviews on the same day in lots of different places? So across the country, did they leave, a dozen reviews at lots of different places across the country? That's another one that's okay, this seems a bit unnatural. Another tip that I found out recently, which I thought was really good, is if you see, one or two people who left reviews, positive reviews, check those people, again, check to see, what their profiles look like. If you notice a pattern, so if you notice that there's a handful of people that left reviews on this one business, and then you check each of them and they all also left another review on another business that's the same. So they left a review on business A, these 5 people left a review on business A, but those same 5 people also left reviews on business B. That's also very fishy, so look for patterns like that. And always check the profiles and just see if anything there just seems a bit unnatural. So I always go to look for the profiles to help identify these.
So that's awesome. And I want to just give a shout out to Lee Roth as well and Mitchell Howell who are on here. Thank you guys so much for showing up and giving us some love and some thumbs up. For you guys that are on, do the same. Give us a little bit of heart and thumbs up. We like to know that you're here. Comment. We're here to answer any questions you might have on this subject. Tell us a little bit about orphan reviews. You know, a lot of people don't even know what an orphan review is. So let me just tell you, that's one of those reviews that all you get stars. You get 1 star, nothing said. Or you get 5 stars, nothing said.
You mean no comment?
Yeah, there's no comments. There's
Just
no
stars,
comments
okay.
about, yeah, you get a negative rating, but there's absolutely no comment whatsoever. A lot of times, those are often fake reviews. And while Google won't take them down, if you go through the process of what Caroline just said and look at their profiles, what you'll find is they normally leave a lot of these same type of just orphan reviews everywhere. So when they're doing that, that's something you can actually gather that information and send into Google. And Google looks at that holistically. They look at it kind of at the whole thing, not just your company, and look at that as a negative review. And thank you, Terry. Appreciate you giving us a thumbs up, and so glad you're here as well. That's awesome. So anything else, guys, that we can think of right now on how to spot a negative review?
Well, what happens when, because we've seen this too, and I know Caroline, you and others on our team have had to combat situations where somebody left a negative review for a client, and it turns out it wasn't even really a customer of that business. It was some other business in that market, but they didn't take the time to figure out which business they were actually leaving a review for.
Yes, that can definitely happen. I've seen it happen with companies that have similar names. Where there's a disgruntled, customer and they leave. It's a legitimate review, but it's not a legitimate review of the business that they posted it on. So in that case, it seems unfair to call it fake or spam, but it doesn't belong there, right? So that's definitely something that you can also combat and try to take care of. And in those situations, I think actually Google is more likely to, help you out with that because it's clear that it didn't belong there, So that is definitely, that definitely happens as well.
Well, Terry asked this question: should you comment on an orphan review?
That's a good question. I hate to always give this answer, but it does depend. Usually
that's the right answer.
Usually what I always recommend is that if you have a review that's either orphan review, that it's a fake review, you've never serviced that person, anything like that, I always say respond, because you want people to know that, this review shouldn't necessarily define you and your business. But you don't want to just say, this is a fake review, ignore this. So what you want to do as a business is respond in a way that acknowledges the fact that you don't recognize this person, while also still trying to be like, hey, I recognized or I don't recognize your name in our system. I don't believe that we've ever done service with you, but we would really like to help you if we can. So please let us know if you could give us a call. We can sort this out and make sure that, we can take care of something if we need to for you. So if you word it like that, put it in that tone, you're trying to help, but you're also letting other people reading those reviews know that like something here is not adding up, so that's what I would recommend. And even with the orphan reviews where, there's no text, I would just say something like, hi, we
So much for putting it on. I miss putting my phone on do not disturb. I got it on now.
But yeah, so responding to the orphan review, I would say something to the effect of, we don't have your name in our system. We would love to know if there's anything that we could do for you. You didn't provide us any feedback, so we don't know what we can do to improve. So if you could give us a call and let us know, what we can do to help you out, we would really appreciate that. So say something like that.
I think you said something very key there, which is give us a call or, please contact us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to invite somebody, or bait them and say, oh, you must be a fake review if you couldn't take the time to, even leave a comment. And then
Absolutely.
they come back with both barrels and blow you out of the water, and it turns out to be a legitimate negative review.
Mm-hmm.
So always invite them, I'm so sorry you had a bad experience, but I don't recognize your information. It doesn't look like you're in our system, so I don't know who you are. However, we'd still like to help you. If we can, please contact us here offline, and we'll be happy to hear your story and find out what we can do about it, because get them offline. Take the story offline.
Absolutely. And I would even go one step further and say we do get confused with another chimney company in the area. So if you'd please call us, we want to make sure that you're reviewing the right company, number one, and number
Mm-hmm.
two, if you're not satisfied, then maybe we can help you. So yeah, that's all a good thing. Well, Jerry Eisenhower's in the house. Thanks, Jerry. And for your question, what about a review from a former employee trying to cause you harm?
We've seen that.
Yes, we have. Yeah, Carter, do you want to kind of speak to that a little bit?
Well, only that we've seen it, and I'm just as curious as anyone else. And Jerry, I'm with you. I want to know, does Google treat that differently? In other words, is there a way to remedy that? Can we prove that this person who left this review, or that we suspect they're an employee who was fired and they're looking for vengeance here? Do they treat that differently than any other potential spam complaint or fake review complaint?
So what happens a lot of times with these types of reviews, many times they are vitriol and have some questionable language in it, and is disparaging of the company, not of the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are against Google guidelines, all of those things. So many times we get them taken down because they don't follow the guidelines.
That's true. If there's coarse language, if there profanity, if there's threats of violence or harm, those are all things that violate Google's guidelines. So if you flag it, then odds are it will be taken down just right then and there. If it's someone trying to be a little bit sneakier, where they're just leaving you a bad review, but it looks like it's a customer who was just displeased, Google will at first treat that as though it's just any other regular disgruntled, customer. But there are ways, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later, to report that and then just kind of take it up to a higher, level of people that can look at that and kind of help you out with that. But absolutely, you can work on those. As far as responding to those, I would kind of respond in the same tone. If they are obvious that they're a past employee, then, I would say something like that, like, hey, this is a past employee, they do not, represent the work that we do, that kind of stuff. If they're being a little sneaky about it and, they are not telling people that they're a past employee, it just looks like a disgruntled customer, then I would handle it in the same way as before and just say, hey, we don't have you in our records. Please call us. Just treat it the way that you would treat any other, fake negative review, because you don't need to air out that dirty laundry where everyone can see it.
That's
so
good advice.
Yeah, you got to keep that emotion intact. And hey, Ken, so glad you're here. Glad you're enjoying listening to this. This is great. Terry says the only bad review she's ever gotten from people she never did business with, and I believe it. I think I can't say that about everybody, but I believe you, Terry. Office, Yelp seems to be the hardest to address. Any tips? Yes, we're going to get there. Hold on. You're going to like this. So, Jerry, also be aware that you may have bad reviews on Indeed. Yes, indeed. And Glassdoor's another one. If you've got disgruntled employees, go look at those other two places. Don't just look at that. Lou Curley, we probably shouldn't use profanity or threats of harm in our responses either. I don't know, Lou. No, I think you're right, Lou. Right on. Hopefully that goes without saying, but I'm glad you said it, Lou, because sometimes we need a reminder. Absolutely. All good stuff, guys. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to get rid of a fake review. Now, before let me tell you, we would be here for 3 hours if we gave you all the go to this link, do this thing, do this, and we're not going to do that. That's why we got this blog post coming out on Monday. So it's really, really important that everybody that's listening go to the blog post, sparkmarketer.com/blog. It's going to be posted on Monday. It's going to have all the links and stuff in that so that you have the specifics. But we are just going to cover, if you will, kind of the overview of this. So how do you get rid of one of these doggone things, Caroline?
Sure. So it's going to be more or less, the first steps are more or less going to be pretty similar no matter where you're looking, whether it's Google, Yelp, or Facebook. But first you're going to want to locate the review. And once you have found the review that, is fake or spammy, then you are going to be there's going to be like 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. If you click that, you can report it there. It gives you an option to report. Depending on which platform you're on, they may give you like a form to fill out. Not all of them do, but you fill it out if they have one. And then you just wait and kind of see if the review gets removed. A lot of the time for that first step, they're only going to remove the review if it violates those guidelines, like we said, profanity, threats of harm, that kind of stuff. So if it's not removed after that first step, depending on which platform it's on, Google gives a little bit more support for this. So if you have Google reviews that you can't get removed, then you will go to their like community support forum and you just kind of plead your case there, which this is going to be stated in the blog. But one thing you're going to want to do is if you are reporting these reviews to the Google support forum, use an alias. Do not use your real name or your real email or anything tied to your real identity, because these review spammers that are, being paid to leave these reviews, they are known to go after people. So just protect yourself. Make a separate email if you don't already have one. Don't associate it to yourself, your Facebook, your name, your phone number, none of that. Just make it completely separate from who you are and use that alias to then go and, fill out one of those support forums and go from there. Yeah.
This is what I tell people all the time. I have a Yahoo address. I've got
only one.
Oh yeah, well I've got several actually. I've got 3. And the reason that I've got Yahoo and Hotmail and different things out there that I can go access when I need to is because there are times you want to go and use an alias, and these people are making money off this, so they will go after you. So you've got to be careful if you do this. So make sure you do that. That's a great advice. The other thing is you can report a fake Google review on your desktop or on a laptop computer or on your phone. Okay. The blog post is going to walk you through how to do it both ways. You're not going to have to there's no questions about it. It's literally going to be point by point walking you through what you need to do. So, but just again, make sure you use a different email address. Now, here's the other thing, because a lot of people say you can't delete a review on Facebook. Well, that's what I've always been told. Now, you can delete all the reviews on Facebook. You can hide your reviews if you don't like any of them. Just get rid of all of them, But I've always been told you can't delete a review on Facebook. But from what I understand, that may be changing. So is that correct, Caroline?
The last article, the most recent article that I could find, said that you can flag and report reviews or recommendations is what they're called now on Facebook the way that you can on Yelp or Google. So you just, there should be 3 dots in the right-hand corner, click on it. And I think it says something like find support for this recommendation. And then you'll click that. And I believe they do give you a form to fill out. You send that in. I don't know if their support's not great. Like, I don't know if you even get like a follow-up on it or anything like that. But you do basically make it aware to Facebook that like, hey, this recommendation isn't really, helpful, to our business. But what you said earlier is a really good point. Like if you are struggling and you're getting like a lot of fake recommendations and reviews on Facebook, you can just turn the whole thing off if you don't want to deal with it anymore. But that will, of course, get rid of all the good ones too. So it's just kind of a double-edged sword that you want to keep in mind.
It's like a nuclear option. And,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
if you've got that many bad reviews, then your biggest problem is not whether or not they're showing up or not. It's what's going on in your business. That's because most of the time I've never seen anybody be the target of fake reviews to the point that it completely swamps and overwhelms the good reviews. So if that's happening and you're to the point where you just want to start turning off reviews and hiding in the dark, it'd be a good time to maybe take a deep hard look inside your business and find out where those reviews are being earned.
Yeah.
Well, office staff, pay attention, because here we go. We're fixing to talk about what about Yelp?
Yeah.
That's exactly. What about Yelp? Now, before we get into this one, let me just say for all of these, for every one of these platforms, you yourself cannot ever just get rid of a review. All you can do is make your case.
Mm-hmm.
Yelp, Google, and Facebook are the ones that once they review your case and look at it, they're the ones that have the ability to get rid of that review or not. But this is the way to make your case.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Yelp. How do we do it on Yelp?
Right. So again, with Yelp, you find the review, you can flag it. Yelp will actually give you a form that you can fill out about the review. And so you fill that out and they give you space where you can actually, fill out and provide evidence, as to why you think that this review is fake. So this is where you kind of go into detective mode yourself and you see, did this person create this profile just to leave this review? Did they, leave this review and lots of other negative reviews with lots of other people, that type of stuff. So just find all that evidence and then document it and then write it out in that form, because they're not going to do that work for you. You can't just assume that, they're going to play detective, because you're the one making the report. So you've got to find all that information and put it in there. And then once you fill that out, again, you just send it off and you just kind of wait and see what they do. But yeah.
I look at it as when you document a job, that you go out and document your job, you're documenting it so in such detail that if anything ever comes up, if there's ever a fire that happens afterwards or a lawsuit or anything, you can pull all that documentation out. You got pictures, you got everything. You just kind of make your case. It's the same kind of deal. You have to do the same kind of work in order to get these fake reviews down. So that's just kind of part of it.
Hey, Taylor, before we wrap it up, I want to jump back to Terry's comment. I don't know if you want to put it back on.
Sure. Which one?
The one where she's talking about the only bad reviews we've ever gotten were from people that we never even did business with. And it struck me that we didn't cover that one scenario where you get a bad review from somebody who chose not to do business with you after they called you and got pricing. And then just wanted to get on and blast you for being, ridiculously priced in their mind, and how other companies are cheaper than them, and they would never work with somebody who is so crazy priced and everything else, even though it's a legitimate price. And this happens a lot, especially with our clients, who we tend to put in such an advantageous position that they can charge more in their market than a lot of other people. And so this sometimes comes up. I'm just wondering, how do you deal with that? I mean, it's kind of a different thing. It might not really be a fake review, but it's a review of somebody who never truly did business with us. They just inquired.
So,
right. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I talk all the time on these things. I'm going to give you the opportunity.
Well, I've kind of heard it both ways. Like there are some people on one side that say, oh, they didn't actually do business with you, so it's not like a legitimate review. So you can just flag it, treat it as non-relevant, and kind of go from there, and just treat it like any other fake or spammy review. There are others, though, on the other side of the fence that, they say that any interaction with your business can be treated as, something that can go up on Google or Facebook or Yelp or anything like that. One example that I hear a lot is, if someone is walking by, a clothing store and there's a mannequin in the window that's fallen over and like everything's kind of messy. Someone then can then leave a review saying, hey, the mannequin was messy, even though they never walked into the store, they never bought anything, they never talked to an employee, that kind of thing. So I would say contest it, just try. But I don't know how receptive, Google, Yelp, Facebook is going to be towards taking down something like that.
So here's one of the things that I recommend, because I don't, from my experience, unless something's really, really changed, I've never had this type of review removed. Okay. So to me, the best way to fight this type of review is in the arena of public opinion, which is in your responses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So to be able to craft your response in a way that basically says, hey, we're so glad that you called us. And yes, our prices are high. Here's why our prices are high. Every one of our staff is CSIA certified, which means when they come on a job, they've had X amount of hours of training. They've gotten this, they've gotten that. I mean, you argue it in really in public opinion, so that when I go behind that, here's the thing about a review response. The review response is not to get that business back from that customer. I hope y'all know this. When you're writing this response, that response is for the next customer reading that review that says, oh, I want the best in my house. I want those people. I want those really well-educated people. I understand why the price is high. I'm willing to pay that higher price to make sure I get those people,
to make sure that the people on my roof are insured, to make sure that they're not exhausted, that they have a benefits package that allows them to take time off when they need it, and
right.
And health insurance and all of that. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely talk about those things as benefits, and the reason our price is justified, because we're not a fly-by-night company with a bad reputation. We care about our employees, and in order to care about them the right way, we have to charge what we're worth.
That's right. And I think that is, I mean, and all of you guys are right. Prices are higher because, people are certified. I just had Renee's up there. They just say, hey, sorry, we're not what we're looking for. We feel like we charge a fair price for the services we offer by premier technicians. That's perfectly. And I agree. I mean, this is why it's so important to separate the emotion out of the response. Okay. And it's really important to never get on there and just, go, ha ha. I'm going to get them, that kind of a deal, because it's nothing ever good comes of that type of response. So making sure that you've got somebody that you can run that by. If you've got several people in your office that you can make a response, run it by. Or, a lot of people will write a response, print it out, stick it in the drawer, get it back out the next day after they've had a good night's sleep. That's another possibility. Jerry just said, get professional assistance when writing the response. I mean, one of the reasons we're pretty good at it is we do it for all of our customers. I can't tell you how many responses, we've written over the last 12 years. It's been kind of crazy. And I appreciate the shout out, because we do a lot of this for clients and assist them. And, our number one thing is back away from the ledge.
Yeah. And whether it's professional assistance or just,
yeah.
Every hothead I know has somebody that they count on to talk them off ledges and get them to back down and not pull the trigger every single time. Right. So, find that person and get them to read your response, and they're going to tell you whether or not you should post it or not, right? You trust them already to help you in life in other ways. Run it by them. They're your person, and you'll get good feedback, and you'll know, okay, I need to torch this. I need to nuke this response. It was just to, it's for my own therapy, and now I'm going to compose the one that's going to help me further my business agenda.
Yeah, and again, guys, I know that this is a lot in we talked about doing all the detailed stuff, but the real problem with doing it on a format like this is it's nothing written down. You have to go back and watch this over and over and over again. So we decided to do this in a blog post. It's got the links, it's got where you need to go, what you need to do, not only from this week, but from last week. It's all about map and review spam. If you need that information, it's going to outline everything for you. If anything changes that we find, we will go back and update that blog post. We try to keep these types of things up to date as things change. And just like what Caroline said, it just came out that on Facebook that you could now flag a single review. That's the first time that's ever happened. So these things change and they move all the time, and we want to stay up on it. Again, sparkmarketer.com/blog. It will be posted probably midday on Monday. So we're doing all the due diligence and doing the editing and going over and making sure it's all right now. And so it'll be up on Monday. So just remember, Spark Live can now be found in the following places: Audible, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Just look for Spark Live and you can get this on the go. It's all in audio. Again, you can look at this via Facebook or YouTube, our YouTube channel, which is all good. And the first week of October is Customer Service Week. So we did some of the great customer service facts about a month ago, and we're going to bring it back and talk about some more things that might surprise you in the customer service front. This is going to be a fun 30 minutes, and I hope you guys can join us. It's going to be awesome. We've got some more comments. Here we go. Let's see. What do we got? Jerry, do no go, pound of flesh. There you go. It does you no good. When I write a knee-jerk reply, I do pass it around for edits. Smart lady, Renee. Yep. You are an intelligent woman. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because that's the way to do it. Can't wait to read the blog post about this. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Terry. Appreciate that. Maybe we can be Yelp response buddies. There you go. Man, that's fantastic. So I'm glad you guys are such good friends and help to work together and help each other all the time. And that's just fantastic. So if that's all the comments and all that we can do for you today, then we are going to bid ourselves adieu. And until next week, we'll see you then and talk about some more customer service facts that just might surprise you. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.